The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps has accused Kim Kardashian of having a secret hand in the corruption of Iranian youth. The deeply anti-American agency says models like Kim K are puppets of the West, tasked with targeting young people and undermining Islam. So the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps is an agency that's tasked with policing domestic culture. As I said, they're deeply anti-West, anti-American. They feel that democracy is an outgrowth of Western influence, and a lot of what they're looking to do is basically police the cultural, religious aspects of Iran. So a lot of what they've come out in against recently is specifically advertising in the commercial aspects of Facebook and Instagram, but also just kind of the vanity that's incorporated in there. It's very anti-Islam in that regard. So it's basically a mixture of ideology and national self-interest here. So where does Kim Kardashian come into this? Well, of course, she's extremely high profile, and according to Mustafa Alizadeh, he's the spokesman for the group's organized cyberspace crimes unit. He is concerned by Kim Kardashian's media popularity, social media popularity, and he has this to say about her. He says, Miss Kim Kardashian is a popular fashion model, so Instagram CEO tells her, make this native. There is no doubt that financial support is involved as well. We are taking this very seriously. So, I mean, it is interesting because Kim Kardashian's grandparents, they immigrated from Armenia, which does share a border with Iran, but I think it has more to do with just her high profile, the fact that she's getting paid millions of dollars to post these pictures, and because she's such a kind of a symbol of just like vapid Americanism, I suppose.
Sure,
what do you think?
Sure. Yeah, well, first of all, can I just thank you for allowing us to finally have my Kim Kardashian story. This is great. I've been dying to have a Kim Kardashian story on the books. Never been able to do it. Now we get to talk about the real things that matter in Kim Kardashian. Right. I would imagine that it's probably the reason they're targeting her is not so much, or as much her high profile, but she probably has a significant following amongst the youth in Iran, specifically in Iran. And they see her as obviously a leader, a brand leader, because there's a myriad of different people. And there's many different people who post naked pictures of themselves or scantily clad pictures of themselves, or symbolizing the decadent West that they could go after. But obviously, I would imagine that she has a prevalence or a high profile following in Iran itself. What's interesting to me in this story is the fact that you do have this clash of cultures, clash of civilization, or clash of cultures really is going on. 2/3 of Iran's population, 78 million population, were born after 1979, so after the revolution in 1979. And so there is this clash at the moment between the old guard, the religious, obviously the theocracy, and the old guard that sort of have to work hand in glove to an extent, and not always harmoniously so, and the chance of death to America, etc. And then you have this younger, vibrant, more progressive society that ultimately is the future of Iran. And there's this huge paradox that's going on at the moment. There's a huge conflict that's going on. So I think this really taps into that. And really this sort of a statement is, my first impression of this is going to ultimately be unsuccessful position, I think, for the government to take.
Well, and I think also to your point, considering, you can't, it's so much more difficult with globalization, technology, the internet in general. It's very hard to keep yourself like insulated from all cultures globally, let alone Western culture. So I think that's another reason why there is a specific section, the cyber crimes unit, because they understand that if you have the internet, you can access all sorts of ideology that maybe your government doesn't find nice or whatever. So specifically with Instagram models and Facebook models or whatever, they say that it promotes a culture of promiscuity, weakening and rejecting the institution of family, ridiculing religious values and beliefs, and publishing the private pictures of young women. So of course, they point to both young men and women being targeted, but specifically when it comes to young women and certainly their roles or their sexuality, that's kind of called into play here. Right. So up until this point, the OCC they've warned 170 people with over 350 Facebook pages. Most of the time they say that it's just a wake-up call to just let them know, like, you shouldn't be doing this, but there are 29 of those people that are being targeted for actual prosecution. This is part of something they refer to as Operation Spider 2, which is, again, an effort to crack down on illicit Instagram and Facebook usage. So one person in particular, her name is Elham Arab, she's a model. She gave a voluntary confession on a televised hearing, basically, and she was saying that I made a mistake for joining Instagram because she had a lot of followers too, and she was promoting beauty products and just pictures of herself, I suppose. And then but it's unclear whether or not this was a forced confession or if this is something that she's really actually come to, because they do have a history of, with political prisoners even, they give these forced confessions that you don't really know. So she was talking about how, women really just want to be happy and married, and most men, when they're asked, they don't want to actually marry models, etc. So it's just a way to deter young people from pursuing that. And on one hand, when you're talking about the ideology behind it, I agree. I mean, I agree with the commercialization aspect of it and how that's negative. I agree with the fact that I don't think young girls should be taking naked pictures of themselves or half naked pictures so that they get likes on Instagram. Like, I totally get that aspect. I don't like Kim Kardashian. Many people don't. They don't like what she stands for, but I don't think that you should throw her in jail, basically,
Right.
I don't think she's a double agent. I don't think she's a mastermind.
No, well, I mean, listen, she's a lot smarter than probably than we would give her credit for. I mean, you don't build as vapid as she may be. You don't build an empire that she has without having some smarts and being socially media savvy. So certainly she's got that. Whether she's an agent, I don't know. Whether she's some kind of Trojan horse, I find hard to believe. But just reminding ourselves that Iran is a country where if women will receive harsh punishment, they receive lashings if they don't cover their heads and bodies in public. So then to have that as the diametrical opposite of that is someone like a Kim Kardashian or any of these other Instagram accounts that you've referenced, where people are wearing more provocative clothing or sometimes scantily clad or whatever. So that's highly provocative. But in that instance, I think that is, I think as an agent of change, and social media is an agent of change, and I agree with you in terms of that buying into that distorted worldview that social media offers. We can distill that down, and we in the West, see that because it's part of the way that we've been brought up, and we've now become more accustomed to being discerning in how we actually, discern between what's real and what's just, a projection. But as an aside from that, as an agent of change and an agent of social change, I think it's admirable, and I think it's a wonderful opportunity that Instagram has, actually. And I would be advocating, I'm not normally somebody that does advocate those types of accounts, but I advocate that for just offering that up as a possibility, not saying that is admirable, not saying that is a lifestyle that you want to emulate, but just to demonstrate, immediately, and
right.
It's in, obviously it's in the palm of your hand, just an immediate delivery of that, just to show an alternate way. I think is.
I mean, but if given the choice between expressing yourself and not expressing yourself, I'm always going to choose expressing yourself, even if that means that you're taking selfies in front of like a quiche you're eating. I don't know. But so yeah, I found this very interesting. This is the latest from the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. And do you think that Kim Kardashian is bad for Islam, or just like what most people consider, that she's bad for everyone?